Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I am continuing the coolest series ever, at least I think so. And what I'm doing is I am taking isolated vocal tracks with no instruments, solo vocals only, and I'm doing vocal takedowns to show you exactly how some of these incredibly legendary songs were performed and even recorded. We're going to talk a little bit more about that afterwards. So before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really cool. I have a singing course. The course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at KenTamplinVocalAcademy.com, and I have a free singing forum also with over 20,000 members. You can find that at Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy as well. And so we're going to take on next Ronnie James Dio. Now, I've done a couple things on Dio, How to Sing Like Dio, and this is going to be kind of like How to Sing Like Dio also, but I've never done Rainbow in the Dark. Now, Rainbow in the Dark is kind of special to me because we just did this with one of my clients, Kayla Reeves. Now, Kayla is one of the main lead vocalists for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I'm going to put her link in the description so you can hear her version we just did. Also, I've done quite a bit of Dio as well. I'll put that in the description so you can hear how I did. My student Gabriela Gunchikova has also done some Dio. I will put that in the description. And my student Sarah Loera has done some Dio. So I'll put all this in. You can see how we stacked up to Ronnie. Now he's Ronnie. We're not. I get that we're cool. But I do want to kind of go through the process of what it sounded like, maybe some perceptions that may be real and some not so real and so forth. So with that said, I've got it here in playback. I'm going to play it a line at a time. I want to talk about it as we go. So let's just get started. Okay, here we go.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down.
Now, there's a perception that it's when that, he's just like killing it, right? But he's actually not. And I want to play this one more time because I want you to really, really listen that his sound is really compressed and tubular and it's very forward. Now, it's forward in the sense that he's using some mask and he's pushing the sound forward, but actually he's got a lot of the sound like what I teach in my singing course with open throat technique back up into an ah vowel in the throat. He uses a lot of ah vowel. We talk a lot about this, the ah vowel, and he uses small variations off of that ah vowel with a tremendous amount of diaphragmatic support. Now, again, I've said this before, he claims to not have taken vocal lessons, and that's fine. However, the techniques that he uses, and he attributes his diaphragmatic support to playing trumpet. Well, I've noticed that sax players and trumpet players, or people that use a lot of woodwind stuff, they actually do use a tremendous amount of diaphragmatic support. So they've understood this breathing mechanism from another instrument to apply it to this instrument, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, again, I'm going to repeat myself one more time. Sorry if it sounds redundant, but Ronnie has grown up with his family listening to Mario Lanza, a very, very popular Italian opera singer, and you can hear some of the influence of that when he approaches his vowels. So he said he'd go around the house all day just singing Mario Lanza with this, nice diaphragmatic support. Hey, I guess it doesn't get much better than that, right? So that said, now I teach all this in my singing course because bel canto or arpeggio, the foundation for opera, classical trained singing, is a foundation that I use for my course. I just contemporize it in lots of ways. So I want you to listen to this again one more time. This is how small the sound really is, even though he sounds like a roaring lion. Now wait, before I go on and play this, in the studio recording, compared to this raw vocal version, there is a little bit of effect on here, but you can tell they used a considerable more amount of effect in the actual recording. And I'm going to explain that in the recording part of what we're about to do. So know that there's a little bit of doubling. There's definitely some doubling. There's some definite doubling in the chorus that they even show here, but it's even more extreme on the record. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let's play this one more time. Listen to how close and how tubular and small the sound actually is, even though it sounds like a roaring lion. Okay, check it out.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down.
Now notice it doesn't sound like he's choking or gagging on his throat. It is like, it doesn't have that sound, right? So what I teach in my singing course is to develop a muscle memory for open throat technique first. This is so important. You develop the muscles to stay open, the uvula to rise in the back of the throat, the soft palate to rise in the back of the throat, to create maximum space so that when you compress air, you're not pinching and squeezing and just straining to get to these different vowels. Now, we start with an ah vowel, and there's all kinds of different vowel modifications that we use to close or pare down that sound as we ascend and descend so that we can protect our voices and get good big round sounds instead of sounding like we're killing ourselves and just, again, heaving up our vowel sounds and pinching and squeezing and throwing up our, our vowels as we go up top. Now, the other thing is using compressed air. So Ronnie compresses his air when he sings, and you can hear that, but you also hear a tremendous amount of diaphragmatic support. So I want to play this one more time. In fact, I'll play the next verse and then we'll have both.
'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
Now, there's an illusion too that he's using an incredible amount of distortion. He's using some distortion, but there's an illusion with all of the harmonizing and some of the room reverbs and some of their stuff that he's distorting his voice a lot more than he really is. So, when there's lightning, right? That's about the max that he's distorting his voice. And again, if you want to look up my tutorials, I also did a What Makes This Singer Great, Ronnie James Dio, and I have a few other things. I'll include that in the description too, where I describe a lot of this in there. So I don't want to be too redundant. I just want to show you how he gets to his vowels. Now, one more thing as we go, notice too, he's connecting his vowel phrases and he's not over accentuating his consonants at all. Listen to this one more time.
'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
'Cause I see and it's free who's lost and never found, right? So he's got this, open throat thing working for him the whole time. And when he does it, he's not closing down the throat on his consonants. He's keeping his vowels open through the whole thing, okay? Let's continue.
I cry out for magic. I feel it dancing in the light. It went cold, lost my hold to the shadows of the night.
Now, excuse me, I meant to play this, and I can, you won't get audio if I don't stop the tape. The only vowel that I heard him slam was it. It was free, and I see it means lost and never found, right? So listen closely again to this one more time, and notice he does something else that I use all the time. He throws in little H's along the way to keep the throat open so the throat doesn't get constricted and close down, pinch and squeeze, and close off these vowels. Listen to it one more time. Here we go.
I cry out for magic. I feel it dancing in the light. It went cold, lost my hold to the shadows of the night.
I cry out for magic. I see it dancing in the night. Right? He's throwing these H's in as he does it. You can't really hear him. He's not going, I cry for magic. He's not slamming all of his vowels or constricting his throat with consonant sounds as he's going through this. He's throwing in these little H's along the way. You can't really hear them, but they are there. And what it does is it opens up the throat first so that you can have air hit the vocal folds. And then he's compressing the sound, and he's not using so much air that it dries out his vocal folds. So you guys have all been there, right? Where you're singing along, and man, you just get so dry and so hoarse and this and that. Well, he's not going hoarse because he knows how to compress his air correctly without constricting the throat and sounding like you're pinching and squeezing when you sing. This is precisely what I teach in my course so that we can maintain good vocal health even at the point of distorting or distressing the voice. We can maintain good vocal health along the way and still be able to compress like this and sing this heavy. Okay, let's continue.
No sign of the morning coming. You've been left on your own like a rainbow in the dark.
I said he uses doubler, right? So no sign of the morning coming, right? You can hear that you can hear the doubling effect that they added here. There's actually even more on the record. Okay, so with that said, we're going to continue, but there's definitely a lot of doubling, and then there's the harmony at the end of that. So play it one more time so you can check it out. Listen to the double.
You've been left on your own, like a rainbow in the dark. A rainbow in the dark. Do your demons.
I want you to listen really closely to the track, okay? Really closely to it. I'm going to back it up. Even though the chorus had a lot of doubler, can you hear harmonizer in his voice? It's not that he's singing with 2 or 3 voices at the same time and that it's Nuven throat singing or whatever. Nuven throat, we got 3 harmonizing or 4 harmonizing things going on in the voice. They're using harmonizer on his voice. Listen closely.
Do your demons, do they ever let you go?
Do you guys hear that, right? You hear the harmonizing, right? Let's continue.
When you've tried, do they hide deep inside? Is it someone that you know?
Now, one more thing that I've got to bring up is I wonder if Ronnie knew how epic this was going to be. Did he just go in and go, okay, it's another song like Deep Purple or, whatever other songs that he did? Or did he know that, man, we would be analyzing this many years later, even after his passing, just going, wow, you set the bar so high, but that we actually have something, I don't want to use the word sacred, but something just so wow, that's just so awesome to be able to listen to the original raw tracks without much effect. There's some without much, and be able to dissect this stuff like this and pick it apart. That's pretty stinking cool, if you ask me. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these too, so stay tuned for this, but let's continue. Here we go.
You're just a picture. You're an image caught in time. We're a lie, you and I, we're words without a rhyme.
We're a lie, you and I. Right, you hear that? All that compression in the throat, he's pulling back the air and he's compressing it, but he's not going, we're alive, you and I. He's not doing that. He's actually got open throat, so it sounds like a big roaring lion, but actually the sound itself from a girth standpoint from the bottom is not that heavy. It's actually kind of small compared to, if let's say Coverdale or a guy with a really throaty, low-endy kind of guy would do that and he would drag all that weight up. Ronnie's not doing that. He's staying in his element of keeping that kind of small, the low end kind of small, but because he's placing the vowels high and he's kind of residing in that altitude of the key that he's singing in, it makes it sound really, really big. And then when you add all the effects, which I'm going to show you, really, really augments and accentuates this. Okay, let's continue.
There's no sign of the morning coming. You've been left on your own, like a rainbow in the dark. Just a rainbow in the dark. Yeah!
Now you can really tell right on that one line, you can really hear the doubling effect that's not the same as the doubling effect that's in the chorus, okay? So now pretty much throughout all of rock history, I don't care if it's Dio or I don't care if it's Kansas or I don't care if it's Foreigner or whoever it is, any of these bands, most of the bands would use a doubler. They'd at least double or even triple track the vocal and they'd get it really precise. Like it wouldn't wave off that much. They'd get it really, really close so they could put it behind the vocal and it just thickens it up and fattens it up and creates all this beautiful harmonic kind of resonance to the sound of the voice, okay? Now I could go on and finish the song, but what I want to do is I want to back this up. I'm going to stop the tape here for a minute because I want to set up some reverbs and stuff, and I don't want you to have to sit there and wait and look at my back, but I want to go ahead and sing a little bit of this myself, so I'll do that in a second. I'll come back and do that, and then I'm going to show you, in fact, what I'll do is I'll show you Ronnie's first, what it sounds like if I put some effect to his voice, right? And then I'll go ahead and do some of this myself so you can hear just me sitting here with my microphone, what that sounds like affected also, okay? Let's do this. Okay, now, so what I want to do is I want to show you Ronnie's single vocal, even though there's some effect on it, right? But I want to affect it more, kind of more like the record. So let's just play it without any effect first, and then let me bring in the effects and you can hear how the difference, okay? I'm just going to start by playing it. Here I go.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down. 'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take that and I'm going to add a doubler, and I'm just going to add a little bit of reverb, room reverb, and that's it. Not a ton, just kind of enough to do what we wanted here as kind of like more like the original recording. Okay, check it out. Here we go. Listen to this.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down. 'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
Big difference, right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and sing a version by myself with no reverb or effect on it, and then I'm gonna add the same kind of effect, okay? Let's do this, here we go. When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down. 'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found. I cry out for magic. I see it dancing in the light. It was cold. Lost my heart to the shadows of the night. No sign of the morning coming. You've been left on your own like a rainbow in the dark. When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down. 'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found. I cry out for magic. I see it dancing in the light. It was cold. Lost my heart to the shadows of the night. No sign of the morning coming. You've been left on your own like a rainbow in the dark. Okay, cool. I think you guys can see how we got to this vocal, and it's pretty interesting, right? I mean, I show you guys how to sing like this in my course. So if you're doing my course, you can find yourself singing in a lot of different styles. And I mean, this was just a quick scratch vocal and a really fast audio recording. I think I've been doing this for like an hour and a half now or something total time. So it's pretty amazing. In an hour and a half, you can get kind of close to a Dio vocal. Now, I want to show you, I'm going to toggle back and forth between Dio's vocal and my vocal and Dio's vocal so you can hear how close they sound. And actually, too, if you put my vocal in a track, you'd be hard pressed to tell, you know, it's even closer because we're doing the naked vocal and it's really obvious. Now, Dio's vocal is going to be thinner because it was recorded in the 80s and he has a much higher pitch tone than I do, and there's not a lot of low end to their recording, whereas mine has quite a bit, and I have a much huskier kind of sound to my voice. But let's just do it, and you guys can decide for yourself if it's close or not. And we'll start with Dio's vocal first. So here we go. Check it out.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down.
'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
I cry out for magic. I feel it dancing in the light.
It was cold. Lost my heart to the shadows of the night. I think you guys can see that it's pretty amazing. I mean, we got this far. I mean, one of the greatest legend vocals of all time in a really short period of time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and it was fun doing it for you, and I'm going to continue to do these, and definitely check out my next video.